Seattle, Washington, Salt Lake City, Utah, Houston, Texas, New Orleans, Louisiana, Minneapolis, Minnesota, Cincinnati, Ohio, Sacramento, California, and Kansas, Missouri, home of the three-time Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs. Welcome to lunch with the Missouri Chamber of Commerce for January the 31st, 2026. My name is Al Post, your host, creator along with Elder Lyles. Scott, how you doing today, sir?
Too blessed to be distressed.
Well, Scott, I tell you what, today we're looking at about 10 or 12 or 15 degrees today here in St. Louis. And one of the things today, when I named those cities off, there are very few cities on that list I named that does not have ice or snow in their forecast.
I don't doubt it.
I think Jacksonville, okay, and Sacramento, Florida, will probably be the exception to the rule. But everybody else is looking at some type of ice or some type of cold weather in their forecast. And also, we'll be joined, hopefully, Matt Turkey Board is on his schedule. Also, today, we have a new person joining us today. This is Janine Busby, who is sitting there for a little while here. So we are happy to say we are broadcasting live on Ferguson USA Hot Talk Radio.com, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, from beautiful Woodson Terrace in St. Louis County, St. Louis, Missouri City, and also in Orland, Missouri. We want to thank you for making lunch with the Missouri Chamber of Commerce a 4-year weekend since 2015. That's a long time. We thank you so much for being with us every Saturday between 1 and 3 p.m. And also, this podcast can be heard live, can be played again, I should say, on Sundays and on Wednesdays between 1 and 3 p.m. also. And we just said thank you for being with us so much. And now we're about to have prayer with Elder Allen Lyles, pastor of the one of Fort Bible Chapter Church. Go get it, 5517 Linden Avenue, 63120. We have prayer as well as a lesson from Elder Lyles. He's a pastor of the one of Fort Bible Chapter Church, located at 5547 Linden Avenue. That's in North St. Louis City, 63120. Next word you hear will be that of the Elder Allen Lyles, pastor of the one of Fort Bible Chapter Church, located in the heart of North St. Louis at 5547 Linden Avenue, St. Louis, Missouri, 63120. Scott,
prayer. We can pray with Elder Allen Lyles, who's a pastor of one of Fort Bible Chapter Church, located at 5547 Linden Avenue, North St. Louis, 63120. And right now, Elder Allen Lyles, who is being our prayer for the week, he's also the pastor of the Waldorf Fort Bible Chapter Church, located at 5547 Linden Avenue, North St. Louis, 63120. And the next verse you will be of Elder Allen Lyles, pastor of Waldorf Fort Bible Chapter Church, located at 5547 Linden Avenue, North St. Louis. Let me ask you a question, Real. How long have you been pastor of the church there?
Huh?
How long have you been pastor there?
Whoa! I've been a pastor there ever since I've been saved.
Okay, my God. Okay. Now that is something else, Real. Okay, I just thought we never talked about that, okay? So we count those years up later on, okay? So anyway.
Yeah, see, I was at another assembly, and God sent me over to Walnut Park to teach. Cause see, I teach leaders.
Okay.
That's my calling. I'm like Moses them. You know, Moses them taught Aaron and all them, and I'm the same way.
Okay. Well, on that note, we have a prayer for today, if you don't mind.
Let's bow our heads. Heavenly Father, we continue to thank you for waking us up this morning. And Heavenly Father, we thank you for your death, burial, and resurrection, that we are passed from death unto life before we sleep and after we sleep. We thank you we're already seated in the heavenly places in Christ Jesus. Our name is written in the Lamb Book of Life. And Heavenly Father, I should bless the sick all over the universe, Heavenly Father. You know what to do. And Heavenly Father, pray that we have a wonderful fellowship with you and discuss the word where people get a understanding and continue to grow in grace and the knowledge of the truth in Jesus' most precious name. Amen.
Amen, Rev. Thank you so much, sir. And again, thank you. Thank you. Okay, so what you got for us this week, Rep?
I'm coming out the Old Testament, and I'm gonna be doing some expounding and explaining different things from these scriptures. You know, I ain't got no special subject, but I'm just talking about the future, what's gonna happen, what's gonna take place.
Prophecy, in other words.
Yeah.
Okay, well, on that note, we should get our pencils out and our notepads. Am I right?
Yeah. If you like.
Okay, well, I got mine here. I'm going to do that with you, okay? Go ahead.
Okay, the chapter is Daniel, the 7th chapter of Daniel.
Okay.
And up above the title said, The Visions of Daniel. Daniel from 7 chapter from verse 1 to 13. The beast vision of Daniel. Now I'm gonna talk about what this vision of the beast of Daniel is. Number 1 said, in the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream and visions of his head upon his bed. Then he wrote the dream and told the son of the master. See right here, Daniel was visiting in Daniel dreams and stuff, he was visiting Satan. He was coming up against Satan now. The people don't really talk about that, but if you look at what this saying, this said Babylon. Babylon is what Satan had the children of Israel to build that tower. That was Babylon.
So that's the one they're going to build in heaven, right?
Yeah, that's why God told him he going to come down to man and see what's going on.
Okay.
See, Babylon is the new city, and also it's the new place where Satan going to be there when the Lord come back to take the church. Before he take the church out, he going to take the church out, but this going to be doing tribulation is Babylon when he going to knock him out of Babylon because he going to be sitting on the throne. Then he go on and say, Daniel spake and said, I saw in my vision by night, and behold, the 4 winds of the heavens strolled up on the great sea. Now he talking the 4 winds. That's north, south, east, and west. You know, down by the equator, stuff was coming that way. From Canada, it was coming that way. From the Pacific Ocean, coming that way. And from the Atlantic Ocean, coming that way. This is what Daniel talking about. All these things happen. And then he said the Great Sea. So the Great Sea is the Mediterranean Sea on the other side of the universe. Okay, verse 3. It said, and 4 great beasts came up from the sea, diverse one from another. They were 4 great beasts. These beasts were something else too. Well, as we go on down, they're going to explain some of the Greece and what the beast is and all that. They're going to explain that.
Okay, come on, bring it right up, bring it.
The world empire, Nebuchadnezzar. The 4th verse said, the first was like a lion. It had eagle wings. I beheld to the wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth, and made stand up on the feet as a man, and a man's heart was given to it. Now this right here, this beast right here, stood up on the feet and he was a man. And I think it ain't talking about no other than about Satan. People don't ever talk that, but I believe that's talking about Satan. Because the Lord don't come in this way. Satan comes in different kind of forms and shapes and attributes too. Because he's supposed to be the most highest to God, next to God. Then they go on to say, and behold, another beast, a second, like to a bear. Okay, you know a bear is a very strong and powerful animal.
And big too.
Yeah. So that bear, when he stand up, boy, he's very tall.
And you better run too.
Yeah. Best not to come in his path. And they can like run about 60 miles an hour.
A bear can go that fast? Jeez.
Yeah, he go that fast.
Oh.
Like a bear. And it raised up itself on one side. And it had 3 ribs in the mouth of it, between the teeth of it. They said, thus unto it arise, devour much flesh. That's what the bear do. You know, flesh can be devoured a whole lot of ways by words. You know, this right here is dealing with words of things happen and expressing to you about things that truly happens without the word, but it happens. Because you got wicked people out here that be acting like this right here, that comes up on you. That's why a good example is when you drive in your car and somebody just zoom by you. That's one of them wild beasts approaching you, trying to harm you. And that's the work of Satan. That's what he does in the world. That's how you have all these accidents and this violence and confusion going on because of that. And they go on to say, the world empire of Greece under Alexander. After this I beheld, and lo, another like a leopard, which has upon the back of his 4 wings of a fowl. The beast had also 4 heads, and dominion was given to it. Now this is talking about the empire, and this is talking about how the empire is working, and it's also talking about that tall man, which was an idol that Daniel them had to worship. Every time the horn blow, they had to worship this man.
Wow.
You remember that, don't you, Ira?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
They had to worship this man. And this statue is made up of each one of these verses that I'm reading.
Mm-hmm.
And it's talking about how the power and the kingdom and what's gonna happen. And here's the Roman Empire. See, the Roman Empire gonna take over all that. You know who the biggest crook out here is? Your Roman Catholic. Your Roman Catholic Church is the biggest and wickedest people out here. They don't want to run everything in the system. They call the Papa, the Pope, all them.
Okay.
They the crooks that be running everything in the world. He going to say, after this I saw in the night vision, and behold, a 4th beast, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth. It devoured and brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it. And it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. See, this is the Roman Empire coming back up, and some is dealing with the legs, the feet, all that's dealing with that, where how it works. Then here's something else. Is the 8th verse said, the 10 kings versus the little horn. That little horn there is nothing but the devil. Verse 8, I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots. And behold, in this horn were eyes, like the eyes of man, and the mouth speaking great things. This right here is letting you know that Satan is a man too. That's who the Antichrist is. Satan, he's a man. And he gonna be in the flesh. Everything God do, he does. Verse 9.
He showed himself a couple of times, during the Bible. He showed himself as a man, different things. He showed himself. That's what.
Yes, he do. And he ain't no man with no red horn, no red long tail and horns on his head. He ain't like that. That's a fairy tale. Or you can say mythology, myth. Somebody imagining. Then verse 9 said, I beheld. Now this said the vision of the coming of the Son of Man in glory. I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit. Now who is this Ancient of Days? Jesus Christ our Savior, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like the pure wool. His throne was like the fiery flame, and his wheel is as a burning fire. Now, I just told you, God is a consuming fire. If God is a consuming fire, also Christ is a consuming fire. And just like what we seeing down here, we see figurative and the images of things, but when it comes to the true Lord and Savior, ain't no images. That's why we're consuming fire. That temperature that's in your body, the 98.6 temperature in your body is what God gave to Adam when he made him of the dust, and then he blew a living soul. That temperature in your body, that living soul, is fire. A fiery stream issued and came forth from before him. Thousand ministered unto him, and 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him. Talking about the angels. The angels are Muriels. M-A-R-I-A-D-S. Muriel means you can't count them. It's so many. And that's the same way that the mystery of the church of Abraham's seed, you ain't going to be able to count them. It's so many. Him and the judgment was set, and the books were open. I beheld then because of the voice of the great words, which the horn spake. I beheld even till the beast was slain, and his body destroyed, and given to the burning flame. As concerning the rest of the beasts, they had their dominion taken away, yet their lives were prolonged for a season and time. Verse 13. This right here is the beginning of Christ's second coming that I just got to read. And this is a scene in heaven before the coming of the Son of Man, verses 9 through 12. I saw in the night visions, and behold, one like the Son of Man came with the clouds of heaven, and came to the Ancient of Days, and they brought him near before him. And there was given him dominion and glory in a kingdom that all people, nations, and languages should serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion which should not pass away, and his kingdom that which should not be destroyed. I, Daniel, was grieved in my spirit in the midst of my body, and the vision of my head troubled me. I came near unto one of them that stood by, and asked him the truth of all this. So he told me and made me know the interpretation of the thing. These great beasts, which are four kings, which should arise out of the earth. But the saints of the Most High should take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, and even forever and ever. Then I would know the truth of the fourth beast, which was diverse from all the others, exceeding dreadful, whose teeth was of iron, and his nails of brass, which devoured, break in pieces, and stamped the residue with his feet. And of the 10 horns that were in his head, and of the others which came up, and before whom 3 fell, even of that horn that had eyes, and a mouth that spake a very great thing, whose look was more stout than his fellows. I beheld, and he came. I beheld, and the same horn made war with the saints, and prevailed against them, until the Ancient of Days came, and judgment was given to the saints of the Most High. And the time came that the saints possessed the kingdom. Thus he said, the fourth beast should be the fourth kingdom upon earth, which should be diverse from all kingdoms, and should devour the whole earth, and should tread it down and break it in pieces. And the 10 horns out of this kingdom are the 10 kings that should arise, and another should rise after them, and he should be diverse from the first, and he should subdue 3 kings, and he should speak great words against the Most High, and should wear out of the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and law, and they should be given into his hand until a time and the dividing of time. But the judgment should sit, and they should take away his dominion, to consume and to destroy it unto the end. And the kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven should be given to the people of the saints of the Most High, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all dominions should serve and obey him. Hitherto is the end of the matter. As for me, Daniel, my cogitations much trouble me, and my countenance changed in me, but I kept the matter in my heart. Amen.
Amen.
All that is telling us what our future is. Everybody's in Christ. You see what's going to happen. It's a victory. Even before it happens, it's a victory. He already told. He's speaking, then he bring it to pass. Look out!
See one thing, Rev. Right now, as we just look around us, you can't be mentioned there. We say this almost every week, okay, that we live in some crazy. Well, I have to say this, okay. In California, people move to California because they don't see no snow, right?
Yeah.
And look what happened now.
It's snow there now.
You got snow there now.
I keep telling them that the Lord said the world gonna wax worse and worse. And you know how California is falling off into the sea?
Mm-hmm.
This is the beginning of the United States not being in prophecy, and it's withering away by the water. It's making the changes. God is making this desolated land. That's why you have to go back over on the other side of the universe.
Well, Rev, that's on both coasts, okay, and also that's happening also down there, in Mexico also. But anyway, that's a story for another day, okay, Rev. We want to thank you so much for that message today. That's Reverend Pastor Allen Lowndes, Pastor 104 Bible Chapel Church in North St. Louis on 55 Pleasant Avenue, and also Scott Owens.
Controversy, Missouri Bank Chamber of Commerce, excuse me, for a beautiful Saturday afternoon. And we have a very special treat today that we've been joined by a famous person here in the city of St. Louis in radio, television, and plus a great friend of mine, Mr. Deneen Busby. How you doing, Deneen?
Hi, how are you? I didn't know I was famous, so thank you very much.
Well, put it this way, Busby, how many years have you been in radio?
I did about 14 plus years.
Okay, don't want to tell you age. That sound like a lady.
Yes, I'm such a lady.
Yeah, special lady, but I see yourself. Okay, but anyway, right now, Elder Lyles, for people not aware, his wife was killed in a tornado that we had here in St. Louis. And so Busby's gonna be filling in for filling in some space there, so we can have some good discussion and good dialogue. And today we had another special message from Elder Lyles that was very timely. And so now what we're gonna do is, first of all, I'd like to start off by welcoming you to the team as Busby, officially Deneen Busby.
Well, thank you very much. I'm happy to be here. Ira, it's been such a long time since we have connected, but it's like old times.
Just like yesterday.
Yeah. Yep.
We had that bond that goes back, okay? But now, for people not aware, tell us a little bit about Deneen Busby before we get started here.
So a little bit about myself. I started out actually at KATZ with some of the oldie but goodies that people would know in the city, like Dr. Jockenstein.
Rest in peace, yes.
Yes. And then I worked at Magic for 14 years with Tony Scott and Mark Clark and Kevin Woodson on the Breakfast Crew. And then I moved on to work a couple years at Channel 11. A lot of people don't know that because I worked in the background as an assignment editor and a producer. And then I went on to work in media and PR. And I won't go through that list because it's been a little list, but I'm currently at Boys and Girls Clubs of Greater St. Louis as VP of Marketing and Communications there.
And also, we'll be remiss if we didn't mention the fact that you worked also at City 16.
That's right. I worked there for a long time, actually.
A long time. And you did a lot of good shows that kind of highlights the city, and also highlights your versatility. Things that you could do. Because sometimes you would also do some editing, producing, and all that kind of stuff.
Yes, I did do that. It's so funny that you brought that up. I have been going back to the city division at STL TV. I'll be there this week, as a matter of fact, as one of our executive directors is going to be on one of the shows. And I remember every time I'm in the building that I think I hosted City Corner, didn't I? I think I hosted that show. My photos sit next to some really nice people in the little Hall of Fame photo gallery that's in the back somewhere, leaning up against the wall. But
I recall we won some type of an award, okay, back then. And you had the honor of breaking the award. I think, what was that for?
I don't remember. I asked Andre the last time that I was there, as a matter of fact, because I could not remember. I was looking at all the awards that they had displayed.
We won that award for that, years ago for one of the. That was one of the programs that was done. And, and we got at that time we got top honors at that time, for the station.
Yes. So it's been there. I started writing a book about just my career, and as I started writing it, it's so many things that I guess I don't want to say I take for granted, but I do think that what I've always done is once I accomplish something, I just keep moving forward. You know, you have your head down and you're on the grind, and you just don't. I didn't take the time to celebrate the accomplishments and the achievements, and that's what people do today.
But that's what I do. I don't take the time because my next assignment pops up when that assignment is over with, so to speak.
Right. And I think, though, that we do live in a time where people definitely celebrate their accomplishments, and I think that's great. So we have to celebrate.
But I didn't. I'm just kind of, and you didn't. I will give you compliments. That okay. But having said that, okay, let's move up to present times. One of the things we always do when we open the program up for the hero, we talk about the sickness that's in our country in terms of talking about that. Right now we're facing a measles outbreak around the country, around the country, and it's not getting any better, and it's getting worse. As a matter of fact, each week I should say, we have another state that has their name too at the outbreaks, and it's getting worse and worse and worse. Okay, and so now it's one of those things that vaccination goes a long way. I'm amazing ourselves. We got kids. We all got vaccinated. This was a thing of the past. So now, people who have these kids, please get your kids vaccinated. Matter of fact, it's normally free. You go to the clinic or to your doctor, because this is something that we require. We went to school in those days to get your vaccinations. And then also along with that, so we're telling people, please get vaccinated. And while we're going through this, we are being hit right now as we speak with the freezing weather, and we also have a new strand of the flu vaccine called influenza A H3N2 subclass K. But make a long story short, this thing is surging worldwide. Not just in this country, and it also sparked concerns by the severe flu season in our country. And it's also, the super flu is sickening millions with fevers, aches, sore throat, and other nasty symptoms. So it's just a warning that this flu season appears to be tougher than usual, especially among children that have not got flu shots. Please make sure your children are vaccinated, because they're vulnerable, because they go to school, they take that to school, then they bring it home to you. So please go to your local health department or call your doctor and get vaccinated. Meanwhile, if you can, please wash your hands. Something we were taught is wash your hands, and then if you can, social distance. Y'all, someplace people start coughing, step back. But in my case, what I do, I put on a face mask. So if you can do that, but right now, that's kind of our health news going on right now, and right now, this weekend, we're going into another one of those bad situations where our budget, where we end up what we call a shutdown right now as we speak. A government shutdown, because right now, the ICE funding, they had put it, for people that are aware, they had included another, more money for ICE. And I don't have to get into what ICE is doing. We talk about that later on right now, but in Minneapolis, around the country, just yesterday alone, Buzz, we can talk about this. We had demonstrations all over the country. And you had a lot of students out, who walked out of school, and the teachers, was in favor of it. And today you will have more demonstrations around the country where the adults get out.
Right.
And they'll be demonstrating. So right now, and people not aware, last weekend, a gentleman lost his life, and he was killed. He was murdered. I mean, the videos show that. That there's no doubt about that he wasn't fighting anybody, because he's on the ground eating dirt, for not eating ice, I should say.
Right.
Right. And then the people everybody saw the gun being taken away, and then all of a sudden some shooting starts. So this was a murder right now, and so now we look. That's one thing that continued to add to the fire. What's going on with the situation with the young lady got lost her life also. So anyway, the funding for that was trying to get more money to ICE, and there was a Democrat revolt. Then they're not getting any more money to ICE right now, and they got all types of new equipment. There've been changes in the leadership at ICE up in Minneapolis, and so right now, finally the Department of Justice has stepped in, and they're going to do a death. How that took place, but we should see how that works out. How that works out. Now, that's one of the things. Continue how cold it is right now in Florida, which we thought would be warm. They have delayed the astronauts' trip to the moon because it was so cold in Florida. They had to move it back because the temperatures got so low. And that's bad, Buzz. When you got to do something like that. And also, another thing that we have to look at every week when we look at this, Busby, and right now, so far, our government, we have spent, not the government, we have spent over $496 million and counting on the Department of Federal Troops in Chicago, Memphis, LA, Minneapolis, and right now we don't know where they're going next. And right now the Congressional Budget Office says that the deployment of 1,000 troops guards, personnel, I should say, costs at least about anywhere from $18 to $21 million a month. That's a lot of money going on, and really, I don't understand, Busby, and I get your input here. What is the impetus behind this? Give me your thoughts on what's going on in Minneapolis, if you don't mind.
Well, I mean, it's all over the country. It's not just happening there, but I do think that it is a distraction from all the things that we should focus on. But we have allowed so much of a lack of accountability in so many ways. My concern, I'm always fearful. The other thing that we, did not even talk about is the fact that you have 4 Black journalists arrested. They went to their homes and got them out of their beds in the middle of the night and arrested them. I just personally don't understand how anyone can justify anything about it. There's no justification for me to separate families. There's nothing. What was there to ever prove that the people that you are taking are criminals?
But Buzzy, right now, this just shows, how a democracy that we have been so accustomed to seem to is be fading away as we speak.
Well, what I do think is that there's a sense of delusion amongst people. I think that people had been so, I don't know what for lack of a better word is, comfortable, because we have been able to go and do and enjoy life to a degree. Democratically, if that's, in that manner. And so I think that people believe that it's not happening. I mean, it's just like, is it really happening? And it is. And so, for the most part, do regular or just average citizens, let's just say, really know what to do? They've been able, because of social media, because of all of the technology, there's so much noise out here. So they've been able to integrate all these different opinions from so-called influential leaders who happen to be entertainers or this and that and the other, until what you have is so many people divided. And then, of course, we know that things that are more controversial, if you will, always captures people's attention. So it's just this constant distraction from all of it that is happening. And what I'm fearful of is that it will be too late and you just cannot turn back.
Well, no, really, one of the things, okay, that you hit on there, that everybody got an opinion. I won't break it down any further than that, okay. And unfortunately, I should say unfortunately, but we all part of social media. You know, you and I have been part of this company and growing up, you know, as it becomes, you know, worse and better, depending on how you look at it. But everybody is speaking, and right now, the country seems to be governed by a thing they call polls, opinion polls. You know, when they take these surveys. And you mentioned a distraction. All of this right now, and just my personal opinion here, is that the Epstein files is something that has to be very dangerous, okay? Because I see we all been played, okay, by the Trump administration, and the Justice Department right now is not what it used to be. I mean, you have a lot of people there now that probably never read the laws, probably never read the Constitution.
Yeah.
Probably hadn't read all the history of the position that they're sitting in, you know, and the obligations that they're required to do. And so now I think that they right now do not fight for the people, okay? They fight for the approval of their votes. You know, and like I said, in the Justice Department, the investigations should have taken place when the good lost her life.
Right.
I mean, that's how it should have been. There should have been an investigation there, and when we all saw what we saw, but we were told we didn't see what we saw. Okay, and then come along, this young man loses his life, and I think this is going to be one of the catalysts, okay, where the genie is going to be out the bottle for sure now, because of social media that you just mentioned.
Well, I don't think so. I just don't think so. I think I think it's wishful thinking, and it should be the case, and I hope that that's what it will be. But from what we have seen, I don't know how it will be.
No, but I think that that right now, I'll give you a good example. While this is going on, matter of fact, hold on a second. This company's going to get good. The mayor just called in here. Hold on a second.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, are we going on break?
No, we got it right now. Mayor Jones?
Yes, I'm here.
You're welcome to the program. We got Deneen Busby along here with Brother Scott, and we welcome you to the program.
Well, hello, everyone, and thanks for taking time out of your radio time to invite me on to share.
Of course. Of course. We have to have your voice represented here today.
Okay.
Well, right now, what we're going to do, Madam Mayor, we're not knowing how much time we have, but we're going to go from national politics and national government to go to local government right now. And, and so now, okay, for people not aware, Mayor Jones been one of our faithful visitors, members of the teams before she was mayor. So welcome to the back on a beautiful Saturday, Mayor. So how are things in Ferguson?
Things are coming along great in Ferguson. I'm excited about Ferguson's future. We have Troy Doyle and our police chief, and we get ready to sign a new contract with him.
Great.
Our streets are plowed. Nobody complained, but we put a plan together. So when the snow happened, my guys, they worked 12 on, 12 off. So everybody was working around the clock.
Mayor Jones, was that the key to the success of getting the streets plowed? I know that for some people, maybe that's the least of what we have to worry about. But when we had all of that snow coming, that's when we realized, we gotta get these streets clean.
No, what it is, your fire department get a weather forecast way in advance than what they put it on television. And my fire chief, he lets me know what's the weather going to be for the next 7 days. And we sit down with the assistant city manager, the director of public works, the police chief. We sat down and we came up with a plan for action. And then we worked that plan. We really worked the plan.
That you should share that with others.
Right. I think you would.
And every day, the director of public works, he will send us an email stating what was done, what is going to be done. So whenever a resident called me, I could tell him that public works will be on your street sometime today after 1 o'clock.
Wow.
Oh, that's perfect.
You know, Mayor. And I'm gonna say this anyway, being a male here and a man here, with two women. Leave it to a woman to figure out how to make stuff work.
Well, you gotta have a good team. That's the key. You gotta have a good team.
Well, Mayor, I can give you that, okay, but all cities have the same kind of people that you got, but they don't use them the same way. And that's what I'm saying. So that's why I said, no, you look at, we can go Jennings, all these places, in the city, in the county. And traditionally, a lot of mayors have lost their campaigns on snow removal.
Right, but we tend to work together.
I know.
My success is dependent on the staff. And the staff is successful, then I'm successful. And then my public works people know that I praise them for what they do, and I take them lunch. A lot of people don't do that. But my public works director, I told him, I say, okay, let me know when the guys want lunch again. I go buy whatever they want out of my pocket, my money, and I buy the lunch and I sit down and have lunch with those guys and talk with them. They love the fact that I treat them with a lot of respect.
Now, see, Mayor Jones, Madam Mayor, they use a keyword, respect. As long as somebody feels that they're part of the solution, and that people appreciation goes a long ways. And, I think I can say that most cities have not taken that approach that you just took here about appreciation along with participation at the same time in what's going on. You're part of the solution, so there's no problem.
Exactly. And I just had my public works manager secretary, excuse me, she retired on Thursday. We had a big party for her. She got a proclamation from the city. I mean, she was just in tears. I said, well, when you do a good job, you get the recognition. And that's the same way with my code, my police department, my fire department, my parks and recreation. I treat people with respect because when I see them, I don't want them to run away from me. I want them to walk toward me. And that makes a difference.
That does make a difference.
I know when their kids have birthdays. I know when they graduate. I know everything in my staff.
Wow. Madam Mayor, I mean, we go way back, okay? And the thing I love about you, okay, that you go the extra mile, to help somebody. And you have a lot that I have. You see me bleeding, give me a Band-Aid. Don't put salt in my wound. You know what I mean? And
the
go ahead.
young woman, Tasha Brown, and her daughter, Paige, was brutally murdered by a boyfriend.
Oh, my God. Yes.
And she used to live in Canfield Green, but
I
she
know.
was part of our neighborhood police steering committee. I didn't care because she moved to the city.
Mhm.
We all got together in this community. Her mom still live in the community, and we rallied around her mom. She didn't have to worry about anything. Fran Griffin, who used to be on the council, she helped her mother with the funeral, got to church. The community gave food. I mean, the restaurants in Ferguson gave food. We didn't want that family to worry about nothing.
That's called community. That's a community. That's a family.
Yeah, we pretty good as a community. That don't say we don't get along sometimes.
Well, go ahead.
Mary, I wanted to ask, when you think about when you first took office to today, what are you most proud of, and was it, because I've never gotten a chance to really talk to you about this, but what were some of the things that surprised you the most that you just had no idea about?
Oh, wow.
Well, when I took office back in 2015, and it was the midst of the Michael Brown riot and stuff, and the city was moving in such a way, and when I got in there, I asked him, I said, what am I supposed to do? And James Knowles said, learn local government. Go to all of the meetings, go to the classes, and that's what I did. And I transferred my skills of being a pastor, and I just pastor the people. I just pastor the people, and I am still surprised at people who run for local government do not know the first thing about local government.
Amen.
They're not teachable and willing to learn. I think that's our biggest problem. How can you run for an office that you're unwilling to go take the training?
Okay.
Madam Mayor, in my lifetime, and I managed many campaigns, and a lot of people who asked me to help in their campaign, I turned a lot of them down, mainly because of what you just said. Okay, they thought they could just run on a popularity contest because everybody know who I am, and I'm gonna do a good job because I'm popular, not because I can make a difference in my community.
It doesn't work that way.
Right.
A couple of people said, they put it on Facebook that the mayor in Ferguson is a figurehead.
No,
Really?
no.
I'm like, where are you when I'm going to all these meetings and federal dollars to come to Ferguson to fix our streets? Where are you when I'm going to these mayor's meetings working on policy to help the municipalities? Where are you when I'm talking to Sam Page to get support that's needed in Ferguson? I say, if you think that's a figurehead job, let me see you try to do it.
Right.
Well, Madam Mayor, I think one thing that Budby just answered, okay, is that when you got the job, okay, you took the time to educate yourself about what needs to be done. Mayor Knowles was a good teacher to me also, because he knew the system very well out there. He grew up there in Ferguson. His father did, and all of them, so he knew the people there, and he graciously introduced you around as a part of his family.
Yeah, and I tell people all the time, once you're a mayor, you're always a mayor. If I come across a situation that I need counsel, I call the previous mayors. I say, what do you all think about this? And they give me their opinion, but I have a right to formulate my own opinion. But they do have the right to give me counsel. And people are shocked. You talk to James, you talk to I see what they know more than me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know
Mary.
everything,
Mm-hmm.
but people
Mary,
don't. You know, it's
I'm
just,
sorry.
go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, but it's just, if you are in a leadership position, and if you feel like you cannot go talk to another leader, then who are you leading? No one.
Mm-hmm. It's good that, and I think it's interesting too that you said that, because sometimes whether it's politics or a business, a lot of leaders don't want to take direction or get information from past leaders for whatever reason. They want to do their own thing. And sometimes I wonder about that. Is that a plus? But it to me, it would seem that you would need the background information sometimes and some of that input to help you make better decisions moving forward and even building your vision or the vision with the community that you're leading. But, oftentimes, like you said, newer leaders don't want to be taught how to do it because they think they know how to do it already, or they have better ideas.
Well, Buzzer, let me give you a good example. People to what you just said. There's a mouthful. Right now, Ferguson, butts up against Jennings. I think also against Riverview, and in those municipalities right now, you have men who are mayors, and they all have big egos. And I think egos right now becomes a problem when the people get in that position. And also in the city of St. Louis, okay, we have a mayor that was humble, mayor we have now. And also we had a former sheriff, okay, that came in with egos. They're going to do it my way. They get power struck for some reason. Am I right, Buzzard? That's what, no, I use the right word?
Power struck?
Yeah, they just think that they can do what they want to do.
I mean, it sounds right to me. I don't know if there's a right or wrong way to say it, but that's one way to say it.
Yeah,
and you know everything. If you think you know everything, you're unteachable. And I have always practiced, I'm teachable and willing to learn. Now, my mom always told us that you never have to be jealous of anyone. Go to that person, talk to that person, and see how they did it. But you put your own spin on it to make it yours.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's all I do. If I can't seek counsel from the previous mayors, then something is wrong. I'm not going to do it. I ask you a question. You give me your very best advice. And then I'm going to do it the way I feel is best for the city. But I had enough sense to ask for advice.
Madam Mayor, I think right now your approach applies to our state government right now, which affects all of us as we speak. In that each of our governors, when they come in, all have a different direction they want the state to go, in a different direction. And then, okay, and give me your opinion on this, and I want your opinion on this also, Busby. In some cases, which affect you also, Mayor, there's a thing called term limitation in our state legislature, where we all agree that knowledge that you acquire comes over a period of time where you learn, and the more you learn the problem, how to figure problems out, and then you put that to good use. So now, in term limitations, okay, that goes out the door with our governors, with our state representatives, and everyone that comes in want to make a change in the Constitution to say they did something. It did not make good sense, okay?
but they want to do something different. Am I saying that right, Mayor?
Yeah, when you stay in a position 4, 5, 6 years, it's called institutional knowledge.
Okay.
Okay.
And you have that institutional knowledge. You're going to change some things, but things that are working, leave them alone. I know a lot of, you look at, like you say, a lot of governors, look at the precedent we have. When he first went to office, that's all he wanted to do was do some executive orders to try to undo everything Biden done.
Mm-hmm.
Why go and try to upset everything instead of trying to figure out the lay of the land?
Right. Well, Madam Mayor, I think that's one of the things, because some of the things that Biden did work, some things didn't work, and we all can agree on that. But at the same time, a lot of things that he's trying to change, to be on the president there, go way beyond Biden, and go way beyond, something that right now that's on everybody's mind is that our country was built on immigration. There are very few people who came here, but like I said, us blacks got brought here, but we Indians who are always ready here. But now you're seeing that there seems to be a cleansing of our system for people of color, for one, and from people from African countries for some reason.
Well, the indigenous people were here before we got here.
Right.
Even people from Scotland, Ireland, Germany, all of them. The indigenous people was here. But you look at how they've been treated. They pushed them on reservations.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And now when you look at it, when President Obama was in office, he did have an immigration policy. He deported over 3,000 people. Did you hear about it? Did anybody get killed?
No.
No. But now we have the person in that seat right now. He needs to be boastful. He needs people to watch him. He needs to brag. But he created chaos. Nothing good come out of chaos. And he's just a chaotic person.
Mayor, what would be your major concerns about a lot of the actions that we're seeing coming out of this administration? I mean, I know there are many, but what's most disturbing to you?
The most disturbing thing to me is the way he's treating the immigrant population. That's disturbing. You want to deport all these people back to Mexico or wherever they're from. But you forgot these farmers to pick the strawberries, to pick the potatoes, to work with the cattle. Now you're trying to get all these farm workers out of the United States.
And also hotel workers also.
Yeah, who's gonna do the work? You think you're gonna make us do it again? Slavery.
Well, do you think don't you think that that's what is the ultimate goal?
Yes,
or no?
Because when he finished deporting the immigrants, he gonna turn around and look at us.
Mm-hmm.
He gonna turn around and look at us. However, people got to get to the point. People got to get to a point and say enough is enough. What are we going to do? Are we going to change the seats in this midterm in August?
Mm-hmm.
Are we going to allow him to have people that are Republicans that don't care about health and welfare? They did everything that they can do to what? Dismantle the Affordable Care Act. the boycott of the government, and we know they're gonna sign the Affordable Care Act. They didn't do it. So the Democrats got egg on the face because some of them broke rank just because to stop the government. I'm like, when are we going to learn that we all need to stick together?
Do you see that happening? It will have to happen. I mean, it has to happen for the Democratic Party if they want to. Cause I just, at this point, I go back and forth with that because I know that there has to be better unity, but I also see an unfair and unjust approach when it comes to the public, to voters, right? What I mean by that is people are very quick to be very harsh about Democrats, yet they continue to let Republicans in many ways get away with the things that they do. There's not a lot of criticism. And if there is, it comes so much later, and maybe I just don't see it. But that's kind of how I see it when I'm just sitting back observing. Am I wrong to say that? Or
no, you are not wrong, because simply they're not going to criticize the Republican. This sitting person, what did he do? He went to every state that had a Democrat governor. And he sent ICE there and everything else. Look at Minnesota. He called himself getting back at Walsh, the governor, who ran against him as the vice president. He created chaos in that city for no reason. Look what our governor is doing, Kehoe, trying to take away the 5th congressional district. They want to gerrymander the map. They want to change the census for Republicans. But like I told the Democrats, I say, if we don't mount up and sign these petitions and tell Kehoe, no, we're not going to stand for them redistricting the 5th district, we got to do it. And I believe this is one time the Democrats got together and said, no. We sent up so many petitions. Didn't the governor try to say, well, if you signed a petition before a certain date, it was illegal? And the court overruled him.
It's always amazing to me the things that can be said about this is illegal and that is illegal. And I'm just thinking to myself, the main person that's talking is doing a bunch of illegal stuff.
Well, we got a felon sitting in the seat.
Amen. Well, right now, okay, that is true. But now here in Missouri, since we are Missouri, our Attorney General right now, with the help of the White House, with the Trump administration, they are trying now to purge our census right now, saying that if you're in Missouri and that you and I don't know how they come up with this non-citizens, that you will not be able to vote, or that you should not be counted in the census. Now, that makes no sense. Because on today's Post Express, on the front page, okay, they got a story at the top of the paper about Attorney General Catherine Hathaway trying to get this done in Missouri on the slide. Then down at the bottom of that same paper, okay, they got an article about Missouri bread, an article about an Italian family that came here, okay, and did something good. So really, how do you cut off, okay, who is and what is a non-citizen? How do you go about doing that?
I know. It's not making much sense.
No, it's chaos. Like you said, I don't understand,
right now, if you're a lawyer, you got to work for days because this president has filed so many lawsuits. So many lawsuits being filed. And I know he wants us to get confused in all what's going on, but confusion don't always bring about good results.
That is true. That is true. But we have to get to the point where we have to tell the African Americans and show the African Americans that people died. They paid the ultimate price for us to have the right to cast our vote.
Yes.
Then we've got to select people of integrity to run in these races.
Agreed. Mayor, are you familiar with the Senate 888 bill? I just heard about that one. I don't have all the details, but I heard that it has something to do with some representatives in different areas complaining about juveniles getting leniency in the juvenile courts. Right?
Yes, I just picked this bill up yesterday from the police department. And we've been having a lot of panel discussion on juveniles.
Okay, Mayor, why don't you kind of explain to us, brother, what we talk about here so we can understand.
What I see here and what I've been reading it, and I've read it 2 times, and I'm trying to get a good understanding, is they want to take a juvenile, and it all depends on what they do, and try them as an adult in general court.
It's fast tracking them.
Yes. And we have a lot of mayors who are pushing for the fact that if a kid steals a car, there's no such thing as rehabilitation. There's no such thing, put them in a diversion program, sentence them, put them in jail. So this Senate Bill number 888 is something I'm doing a lot of research on, and you can't take our children because they done something wrong, try them as an adult, and lock them up. No, that doesn't work. Now, when Congressman Wesley Bell was the prosecuting attorney in St. Louis County, he started a diversion program. That you don't want to take your low offenders and put them in jail and make them hardcore criminals.
Right.
You got to do something to help them. And with the juvenile system, right now, a juvenile has to get X amount of points before they can do anything with them. But most of the time, when a kid steal a car and get caught, and if this is his first offense, they call the parent, and the parent come pick that child up. And sometimes the parent don't even come and pick that child up. But we need to do something on that first offense. And more importantly, we need to do a lot of prevention.
Right. And it's just not enough in place.
Exactly. It's nothing in concrete right now. They're trying to overthrow the juvenile system the way it is. But this bill, Senate Bill number 888, it's going to be hard on our kids.
That's right. That's right.
Hard on our kids. And we got to do something to save our children.
Amen.
I don't have an answer, but I know we better start doing something because this summer is coming up.
save ourselves. This is a entire holistic people thing, and it's coming from all directions. So it's time to really wake up.
I know we have to, and that's what I'm saying. We got to do what was died for us to do. Exercise. Oh, we have to.
Well, Madam Mayor, let me ask you a couple of questions here. On the bill that Ms. Busby Deneen just brought up, okay, especially where she worked with the Boys and Girls Club, this will have a drastic effect on those young people there, on their lives. Sometimes they may be caught in a car with somebody and not know it's a stolen car.
I know.
All right, Busby?
I mean, I don't know.
I'm not trying to
let me just. No. What I'm saying is, what is clear is that it will be harder on our kids at the end of the day. And so, go ahead there.
It will be harder, especially for the ages of 14 and 18 has committed an offense that would be considered a felony if committed by an adult. The court may, upon its own motion or upon the motion of the juvenile officer, the office of the prosecuting or circuit attorney, the office of the attorney general, if the attorney general is acting as a special prosecuting attorney, the child or the child's custodian order of hearing at which the prosecuting or circuit attorney or the attorney general may be present evidence if the prosecutor or circuit attorney of the attorney general filed the petition. In other words, our kids can be tried as an adult.
And right away, the health, the cost of an attorney, and not so much the psychological effect that's going to have on their kid.
Yeah. I wish, I just picked this bill up yesterday and I was starting to read it. And I'm like, who put this thing in motion?
Well, that's why I said earlier, Mary, that you have state representatives and state senators right now who are trying to make a name for themselves to be codified in Missouri law someplace, okay? And they come up with some weird stuff, for lack of a better description, okay, that has no rhyme or reason, okay, where it makes sense to them, but maybe nobody else. And since they feel they're in power, okay, they can write a bill, okay, and but will it be debated openly and fairly? Or is it open for change? Because what you just read there is going to affect a whole lot of families, a whole lot of people going to jail.
Yeah. And they're not going to take into account that child can be rehabilitated.
Right.
Or start on a different path. Most of the time, a 14-year-old is not doing nothing but following their friends.
Right.
I dare you to do this, and you go on and do it on the dare.
Yeah.
That's like, I'm surprised having people putting their tongue to a light pole that say, when you touch it. Stupidity.
Yeah. But that's not to take that child and throw them away.
Well, all I see this doing, okay, Mary, is filling up the jails right now. And this is something that's designed. They'll build some new jails. And when they build some new jails, okay, they want to have somebody to put in those jails.
Pipeline to prison. That's all it is.
Right, that's what it is. I mean, and like I said, is it unfair the way that is written? Yes, it is. I mean, I'm not even a lawyer, okay, and that does make any good. Scott, that makes sense to you since you've been quiet on this. Does that make sense, Scott?
I'm staying quiet.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, as you read that, Tamir just read it, okay, and unfortunately, a lot of people will not get a copy of that bill.
Well, a lot of people, some people know about it now because, I mean, we're bringing it up. More people will bring it up. You know, the mayor will do her part as well. And so the first step is awareness. And so, because it was quiet and it was moving pretty quickly, and I think now it's slowed down just a little bit because more people are taking a look at it and saying, hey, no, we can't let this happen.
Right.
It was brought to my attention yesterday, and I was at the police station in my PIO office, Patricia Washington, and she said,
Pat Washington.
Yeah, Pat Washington, and she said, Mayor, here's a bill you need to know about. And I started reading, and I said, what is it they trying to do to our children? So more and more of us are becoming aware of this bill and speaking out. And we also, in the county executive, Sam Page, has a measure that the council, St. Louis County Council, don't want to even vote on. And it's called Save Lives Now. In order to implement this, it is a program that will go into the hot spots. The data has already been collected and send social workers and people in there to de-escalate a lot of the fighting and the possibility of one person trying to kill another person. Save lives now. St. Louis County don't want to pass the bill, the $1.7 million bill, in order for us to get to these hot spots to try to make a difference with these people.
Now, Mayor, right now, let me say this, okay? And I did want to say this, okay? Unfortunately for us in Ferguson, you being limited out, okay? And so right now, if people not aware, and I want you to just come on and talk about this, you're running for the city council right now.
I'm running for St. Louis County Council.
Yes, first county council, first district in the county. And because right now, our members, okay, that's on the council right now, you know, they're not even talking about this. You know, and they just saying they're going to go against it, but they need to read the bill themselves.
Yeah, they need to read the bill. They need to, but why would you sit on the council for 5 years and garner an $81 million deficit? And then all of a sudden you're going to say, oh, we need to do something about it. Well, why you didn't do something about it 5 years ago?
It didn't just happen overnight.
No, it did not happen overnight. We have people who want to make a difference. Everybody want to talk about affordable housing. Everybody want to talk about getting jobs. But what about the quality of life of the people who we have right now? What are we doing to support these people in order for them to have good jobs? Are we helping them to get educated to get these jobs? Are we sending these kids to apprenticeship program? Are we in the school system looking at these kids? Everybody don't want to go to college.
No.
But why not put them in the apprenticeship program so they can learn a skill?
Well, Mayor, that's one thing that I tried, attempted to do some years ago when I retired, from the city, and I was a part of IBW Local 2, that we was creating a program, and we went, out in Wellston over there to get young black men into the apprentice program. Well, they make very good money, that they can change your whole lifestyle right away when you become a journeyman. And I'm talking about, this is more money, okay,
that you're going to get, because right now, people going to college right now and they're paying for these degrees, they can't use them.
That's true. That's true. You always need a plumber. You always need a carpenter. You always need an electrician.
Yes. One of the things that we said in IBW there, especially local too, you cannot, our job is outdoor where the dirt is. You cannot export our land no place. So if you're an electrician, in the working outside, they can't, your job is secure. I mean, that's why we're working now to build some cell phone towers. Well, they can't take those towers no place else, but guess what? We don't have cell phone towers in the black community. That's why we have poor communication on our cell phones. And our kids can't take a tablet home from school because there's no communication in the area. There's no towers in the area, for them to get Wi-Fi. I mean, so that means, but now I said that, there are certain basic things that we can do, like Bertha just mentioned, the quality of life. And, and everybody is not made to go to college.
Yeah.
And like you spend 4 years and make up at least $80,000 or more bill. And right now, we're not talking about this, because we're later on in the program. When you get a student loan right now, that follows you the rest of your life, okay? So you got to pay that loan back. And this could prevent you from moving up in life, getting a good job someplace, from either buying a house someplace, or even buying a car, or even getting a credit card. Or the student loan will be on your record.
Yes, it is. It will
Tell me about it. I'm still paying my student loans, and it's set up to such a way, depending on what you have, what no one really talks about. I do know people who have had theirs forgiven, but it depends on what you have. You have to move over and consolidate, and then when you try to consolidate, it says, well, once you do this consolidation, you're no longer eligible for forgiveness. So it's like a web to keep you paying.
Right. And
I know all about it.
Okay. So again, that's something people don't talk about that.
I mean, it's so much though. What you have to consider is that people are trying to survive right now. It's hard to fight and go out here and fight for this and fight for that. It's coming from every direction. Just think about all the different things that we've just had a discussion about.
Right.
And then still keep eating, keep going to work, for over 300,000 Black women who are looking for jobs right now, who are doing different contractual things to just keep their homes.
And feed their families.
Yeah.
Okay, right now, we're going to take a small break right now. Scott, we're going to take a small break, a couple of minutes here. Listen to Ferguson USA, HotTalkRadio.com, Lunch with the Missouri Chamber of Commerce, along with Ms. Nadine Busby, Mayor, the Honorable Mayor Ella Jones from Ferguson, Missouri. My name is Alpha. We take a small break. We'll be right back. Thank you for listening to us on a beautiful Saturday afternoon. Lunch with the Missouri Chamber of Commerce. Scott, take us out of here.
to lunch with the Missouri Chamber of Commerce on a cold day in the city of St. Louis and probably around the country wherever you are. But we have a nice discussion today with the Honorable, well, I should say with Mr. Dean Busby, who's sitting in with us now in the absence of Elder Lau. So we have some good discussion. And we've been honored today to have the Mayor of Ferguson, Mayor Ella Jones, as our guest today. And we have covered a range of topics. But one of the topics we just got on here is called affordable living, affordable being, the existence. And so we're talking about affordable housing and college student loans. We're talking that you very few people talk about. So we have opened that door up a little bit. So right now, Ms. Busby, since you're going through it right now, tell us some of the things that you look at.
The real challenge of it all.
Yes.
Well, was that my loans were not eligible for forgiveness unless I consolidate them, and then when I consolidate,
when we say consolidate, what does that mean?
So what that means is that you have more than one. I have more than one. And so they have to be consolidated into one. And then when I consolidate, they're still not eligible for forgiveness. So when I brought that up to them, they said that, well, they still have to be consolidated in order for you to even be considered for forgiveness. And I'm like, but that's not what it says. You know, it's not what it says. So it's a constant back and forth. And I've paid my loans. I paid my loans all the way through COVID because I did not want to be in default. I have done a couple of forbearances, but I've tried not to do that so that, it goes to the back end sometimes. So it doesn't really help. It's just delaying the process of having to pay. So, and in addition to that, it also says that if you work for a nonprofit, and I work for a nonprofit for over 10 years now. And so what they told me before, you didn't work for one, you didn't work in one place for 10 straight years. You worked there for 9. But I'm still working in nonprofit, so what is the difference?
Who is the they here that making this?
So I had Navient at first, and now it's over to Mohila.
Okay, Mohila. Okay, that's in Missouri.
Right. So I'm not sure. I'm still in the process of doing the research and figuring it out. And so the amount that you pay can be astronomical. I've been able to keep it as reasonable for me personally, but it's still a lot.
Okay, now having said that, okay, how does that affect a person if they want to, buy a car, buy a house?
Well, if you're in default, it's going to affect you in terms of what is that called when you're trying to buy a house? The bear can help me with this, but your debt to whatever ratio that needs to be. Debt ratio. Yeah, when you're trying to buy a house. But the other thing is you can't be you have to be on time, so to speak, because if you buying a house, your credit has to be at a certain point in order for you to get the best rate.
Right.
So you can't, and now especially you cannot, because now what they are threatening to do is garnish paychecks.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. They're threatening to garnish paychecks. So there's been several lawsuits that have been filed that have halted some of the things that the government was trying to enact. So everything, of course, again, everything that Biden enacted as far as student loan forgiveness, they've unraveled to a degree. So some of it, I don't know exactly where the garnishment part is right now, but I know that several lawsuits have been filed. For instance, a couple of things that they couldn't do. They could not report it on your credit for a while.
I remember reading about that.
They could not garnish your checks. And then a lot of people were eligible for loan forgiveness. So that was a thing. But all of those things have been an attempt to eradicate those things, and the garnishments and things like that were pushed back to the forefront. But again, some lawsuits were filed that I think have kind of put them in a stall position for now.
Okay, now, but Mayor Jones and Busby, help me understand this, okay? Who was the one that's fighting against this? Is it Mojita, the one that's actually giving their weight in court against making it?
No, it's not. It's not. The mayor can answer that while I do some quick look up work.
I don't have an answer for.
Okay.
I'm going to.
But I'm saying, but we're gonna do a show on this, okay? And get some experts in here. You know what I mean? We can bring in to have a whole discussion about that, because this is a big issue that affects a whole lot of people and how they go approach 2026. Going forward in their lives, because all these changes are taking place here. And like I said, it's almost like 3/4 mile. You got to follow the little bead on the the crypt of the core, which one it is, and just how hard you have to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I think something the mayor said early on, when our president came in, all these executive orders were meant to do was create confusion, chaos, which we successfully have done for the last year. Mm-hmm. So now, after that year has gone by, we're still trying to figure out what's on first and what's on second. Now, having said that, one of the things that I personally feel is going on here, as much as we can create chaos here, there's not opportunity for no one to discuss what we talked about before you came on there, with the Espin files that tells a lot about corruptibility by our president and some other people in our country. And this is all a distraction, just like we're going back to what's going up in here, in Minnesota. And not in Minnesota, we don't know what city may be next.
Yeah,
like the mayor said, if you're a blue state, then you're on your list someplace. And also, by the way, Texas has more aliens, they would call them, immigrants, than Minnesota does. But they not being harassed.
But the governor in Texas is a Republican, isn't he?
I'm saying, it's selective chaos.
Right.
That they're doing here. And like I said, and we go back to what I said early on, the Justice Department was not created to be somebody's personal legal firm to go sue people. Right now, our president is suing to get money back from the IRS for someone, talking about his taxes that he had years ago. More lawsuits. And then he asked for billions of dollars, okay? And who can afford those? Then guess what? He make them settle. I mean, if he came to me or you, Busby, anybody on his phone, I asked him, well, we're going to sue you for $30 million. We said, what? And then said, but guess what? If you got $50,000, we cut you a deal. And guess what? You said, is that right? Nope. But that's what's happening in our country right now. Even right now, while we have this discussion, I got to transition here with YouTube and all the apps we want to our kids watch on TV, that they all locked into TV now. I mean, we understand we were young, they would have us watch TV to keep us busy. Well, we got our kids trained right now to watch TV now, or watch a small screen to be educated. But they don't do it in school anymore. So how that affecting our families and our beings? There's lawsuits right now that's going on, but I'm saying all this, okay, I'm teaching with your word lawsuit. Mayor, being elected official, okay, where all that money go to on these lawsuits?
Well, all the lawsuits that we have, we got to pay the people who sue us.
Okay.
And we got to use the taxpayer dollars to cover the lawsuits.
Right. So like here in Missouri, they love to sue people here in Missouri. Attorney Jones was fighting about the petition that was turned in for the 5th Congressional District in Kansas City. And for people not aware, the Congressional District is Kansas City. It was a seat held, currently held, and probably would be held by former Mayor Cleaver of the city of Kansas City.
Right, Cleveland and Kansas City.
Right. Now the district that he has is Kansas City. Now that district right now will stretch from Kansas City all the way down to the Ozarks. That'll be one district. Now they can't mess with the 1st Congressional District here in St. Louis, okay? But that was created by law. So they can't mess with the 1st Congressional District. But right now petitions were turned in, and Mayor, help me out here. I really believe that in the election right now, that Mayor people would win the 5th Congressional District.
Yeah, we still can win the 5th Congressional District. We still can do that. And that's why people mobilize and turn in all those petitions. I don't have the number right before me, but that 5th Congressional District is important. And I keep telling you, it's more than about Reverend Cleaver. It's who's going to take that seat after him.
Mm-hmm.
Well, right now, the people they got lined up are all quite carrying long-time members, okay, of political families in the state of Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
Some Ashcrofts, I think, he didn't run, he didn't win, ran for governor, but I think his wife is, some of those people on that list, okay, that right now they're filed, and, and all that will come out, should come out very soon when they're filing close right now for that seat. But you hit it on the head right there.
The filing should be February 24th, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
For mid-year.
Right. Yes. So we'll find out more then. But that's the key. But I think whoever goes up against Cleaver right now, Mayor, I call him Mayor Cleaver. Anyway, against it. I spent a lot of time in Kansas City and know a lot of people there, and I know that outside of Kansas City, that he's well respected.
Right.
And he's done a great job.
Right. I think they're going to be hard pressed to try to unseat him. It's going to be hard pressed.
Yes.
Mayor, do you think that the party will get to a point where they begin to start grooming? And I hate to use the word grooming. That's not the right word.
No.
The word that I'm looking for is...
Busby, that's not a better word to use than grooming. We don't make this complicated, okay? Use the word grooming.
Well, the word has so many other meanings, though. But anyway, the thing that I'm trying to say is preparing this younger generation to take these seats. There are so many seats that, and help and position them so that we will have some, and it won't always happen, but some natural options when it comes to when people age out or they're no longer here or something happens, then we just don't have anybody that can take a seat who's ready, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does make a lot of sense. And we're moving toward that, looking for people who's going to be our successors. When I say that, I have another term left to run as mayor of Ferguson. from 2026 to 2029. I've chosen not to run this term. I've been on the council 11 years, but I also asked 2 or 3 people that I had been working with to consider running for the seat, and one person said yes. You got to always look for your replacement. We got to always look to educate people on the jobs that we have and impart this institutional knowledge to someone else who can run a race and be good in that seat. The Democratic Party is now doing that because they realize if you don't have nobody in place, then it's going to be hard pressed to find somebody to run. And by the time you find somebody to run, it may be too late.
Right. Yeah.
Well, Mary, I tell you what, why don't we use you as an example right now, okay, on why you chose not to go for the next term but decided to run for the county council?
Because the reason why I decided not to run again for mayor is because I looked at the first district, and there's a lot of work that still needs to be done in this district.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
I want to get this work done in the district. A couple of weeks ago, I was out campaigning in an unincorporated area, and somebody got on the phone and said, Mayor Jones knocking on your door. People met me out in the street and say, you are the first person who come over here who want to run for that seat. We don't have any street lights. We don't have any sidewalks. What can you do to help us? People are looking for people who are going to listen to them, not make promises, but let's work together and see if we could get this issue resolved.
And this is to do the work, really, back to the old school to get it done.
Yeah, it's
knocking on doors, okay, not running TV commercials, radio commercials.
Well, you need that too.
You need all of it.
We need all of it, but there's nothing, from knocking on a lot of doors. And in the old days, when we came across a sign from our opponent in the window, we took great pride in going into that home, okay, and talking that sign down. And then with that sign, we put our sign up. And that means you convince somebody that you had a better plan and that you will work with them, and you show the results, okay, of their belief when they took the other person's sign down and put our sign up. But nothing can beat that kind of politics. Am I right, Mayor?
That is true. That is true.
That's the old school. But it works though.
Yeah,
just like you.
People want to see you. People want to talk to you. Even as Mayor Ferguson, I still get out and I talk to people. I learned this early in my career when I was pastoring. People ain't interested in how much you know. They're interested in how much you care about them. And that makes a big difference.
And the reality is they like to be able to say, yes, I know the mayor personally. I can talk to her.
Yes. And that's what they like to do. You got to be among the people, not above the people.
I like that.
Yeah, me too. Well, Madam Mayor, no, I'm going to ask you, we got a little time left here. Why don't you put on your pastoral hat, okay? What church are you, is your base church?
St. Paul AME Church, 1260 Hamilton, in the city.
Yeah.
All right. We got a Methodist in the building. Mayor Jones, I'm a United Methodist, born and raised.
I'm AME, born and raised. I love
You know, y'all a little more livelier than us. Well, they always say we close to being boring like the Catholics.
We're lively, but I love the AME church simply because there's a method to everything we do. The Episcopacy, because there is a hierarchy and no one person can run everything. So that's why I stayed in the church after I got grown. And so I love being Methodist because anywhere I go in the United States, I can go in that Methodist church and I'll feel welcome and I know the order of service.
Well, what church should I go to in Los Angeles? There is a AME. I think there's an AME close to where my daughter lives.
First AME.
Okay.
That's in Los Angeles, Fame. First AME.
Okay.
Timothy Tyler is the pastor now.
Okay. All right. I got to make a note of that.
Now, bro, you're not putting us down going to LA, are you?
No, well, my daughter lives out there, so when I go, I would like to have a church to go to. What's his last name there?
Tyler.
Okay, Timothy Tyler. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, by the way, I'm proud of little Miss Busby.
Thanks.
Jasmine, by the other name.
Yeah.
5 more minutes, Ira.
Okay, I got you, Scott. But,
Good to know, AME. And you are familiar with Reverend Kosh, so I'm a member of Beloved with Reverend Kosh, but I grew up in Union Memorial, United Methodist Church.
Yeah, I know where Union Memorial is. Okay.
And where's Union Memorial?
Belt and Bartmer.
Okay.
That was a big church back in the 70s. Woo! Same way all the churches, and that's another thing we need to do. We need to get these young people back in church.
Oh, amen.
Yeah. Amen.
Amen. Well, right now, while we're talking churches, okay, I'm part of a non-denominational church, okay, with Spirit Church with Pastor Neil Williams and his wife, Tracy Williams. And
we're very familiar with that church. That's a big one nowadays, though. They have all the movers and shakers in that church.
Well, right now we're located at Northwest Plaza, in St. Anne, Missouri, and they say we are growing. And they say, and I know a lot of people, say I don't want to be, I know the custom or whatever here. Come as you are. You can dress up if you want to, but right now we got a lot of young people coming and join our church now, and that's why we're saying, come as you are, bring your heart to Christ, and we will work with you.
I remember when they were meeting at the school over here on Forest Road, McClure, South Berkeley. They've been there for years.
Yeah, that's when they had the locker room program that we have for men. That we meet every.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because we came to a couple of those meetings.
Right. And as a matter of fact, every first Monday, we have a call that we all on, okay, at 5 o'clock in the morning. And I can't, till I've been on the call a long time, I just recently joined, and we talked to the pastor, and it's something that we have a lot of men that we can discuss issues that pertain to men in the locker room. When we say locker room, that means locker room. If you don't play any sports, you know what a locker room is.
Well, I thought that women allowed in the locker room if they're in media. Oh, they're not. Okay, I was just wondering.
No. In media, okay, you go into some locker rooms, okay, but in this locker room.
Women not.
Well, I want to put it this way.
I don't want to make the rules. The pastor may say, "Al, you didn't know the rules, okay? I'm just not joining that doctrine, so I don't know all the rules and regulations."
Oh, okay. Oh, you still learning. You still in training. You're in training.
I mean, I'm a trainee. And I do not mind being a trainee, okay? but as long as you're serving the Lord, okay, and I tell people, you need to have the church in your life someplace.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
I mean,
right.
Anybody, I don't care who you are, our parents taught us, you got to go to church.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't got to like it, okay, but go to church. You ain't got to like everybody in your church, okay, but it's the message that's being given. It's from the Bible that's been around since generation and generation and generation and generations. And as long as you're teaching from the Bible and the Word, okay, you're in a good place.
Mm-hmm.
2 minutes, Ira.
Okay. Wow. Well, I tell you what, Mayor Jones, you have made this a beautiful session here that we went, matter of fact, it was unbelievable. And I would thank Ms. Busby for stepping in here, but you kind of got all stepped right in, girl, and took over and did a great. Matter of fact, I'm loving it.
Well, I enjoy being on the radio with all of you.
Well, I thank you, Mayor Jones, because it has been an honor. You're one of my favorite people, so I was excited when Ira told me that you would be a guest, and I was excited because Ira is one of my favorite people too. We go so far back that it's incredible, but he has always been such a wonderful spirit, such a wonderful person, and so good to me. So I'm appreciative of the day.
He's good people. Absolutely.
Well, okay, no, thank you. So thank you, ladies. Okay, but now having said that, I see the chicken's in the mail.
Yep, a good thing with the mail these days, it's going to take you a while to get that check, so just let me know when you get it.
Anyway, you listen to Ferguson, USA HotTalkRadio.com, Lunch with the Missouri by Chamber of Commerce. My name is Aaron Pope. That's Miss Deneen Busby. That's Scott Owens, and the Honorable Mayor of Ferguson, Missouri, candidate in the first county, St. Louis County District for the councilwoman, the Honorable Elder Jones. On that note, we said life is good. Please be safe and take care of yourselves. And we'll talk again next week. Scott, take us out of here.
Thank you.